Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Makeover Show. I'm your host, Chris Moore, founder of Pocket Marketer, and I'm really excited to have Eloisa today on the show, and we're going to be diving into her business. And if you've seen any of the episodes before, you know that my only goal here is to serve my guest and really help my guests walk away with more clarity and really the marketing strategy, the business strategy that he or she needs to be able to move on and really crush whatever they're working on. So I'm here to serve you today. So welcome to the show. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you and what you've got working right now, and then we'll dive in.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. What I'm working on right now, a little bit of myself, I am a real estate investor. So I'm planning to utilize that knowledge that I have of structuring and bringing deals into my new business, which is my passion right now, um, helping families with that are impacted by autism and serving them with my hobby business, which is travel. I love traveling internationally, and I would love to facilitate families with international travel, cruises, and other experiences beyond just the theme parks, right? So I want to bring these to families with sensory issues and different needs that make it a little bit trickier for the planning from beginning to start. And I want to be able to be a tool for them so they can enjoy a stress-free vacation, because there's so much that goes behind the scenes that we have to consider when we travel with people that have different sensory issues and things like that. So that's what I want to do.
Well, I love a business with a mission for sure, and I think the whole world does as well. So that's good. Well, tell me a little bit about, excuse me, where you are in this process. All right, is this a multi-million dollar company? Is this a brand new concept or idea? Where are you in that spectrum?
It started with me just wanting to make a difference for families. So I started a newsletter. It's called the Autism Passport.
Okay.
And in every issue, I have three components. One is the live well, the feel good stories that kind of help families, just inspiring them. My second part of the newsletter is travel well, where I do travel tips, whether it's from travel tips with sensory issues or things like that to even staycations or locations, destinations that I enjoy. And I put in a lot of destinations that are autism friendly,
Mm-hmm.
sensory friendly, disability friendly. So I do a lot of research on those and put that out there for people to find. And the other section, I spotlight resources, but I also spotlight people that are just incredible that are on the spectrum. And there are different levels of contributions that they're bringing in, from businesses to able to communicate in just at different levels. And I do all throughout the spectrum, whether it's like level one, two, three,
Mm-hmm.
they're all different levels. So I try to incorporate things that are helpful for all the families. So that's how I started. And then from there, I grew to the ideas like I want to help these families travel. So I just started my travel agency. In fact, I don't even have a website for it. So I finished my licensing. I'm still going through the training for the actual software that I use as a travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like knowing how to travel, I've done it a lot. So I'm very experienced on traveling internationally, but now I'm just kind of learning the tricks of the trade and how the software and the booking end works on the other side. So that's where I'm at. Beginning, I'm just launching, but I want to bring something really good to these families.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's a cool travel agency business is a great business. And I think the niche travel agency is what we have to dive into today and kind of just look at the overall business mechanics around it, look at the existing demand, and then kind of figure out together where you could focus the most time and energy that's going to give you the most return on your investment. So quick couple questions for you. One, the newsletter. You mentioned to me briefly earlier before we started that you have already sent out 45 issues of this newsletter once a week. How do people get on this newsletter? How do they find you?
That's another reason why I'm here in Pocket Marketer.
Got it.
I've been utilizing the social media tool to what I do. What I've been doing lately, it's grabbing my newsletter, I put it into Pocket Marketer, and then and I ask it, okay, help me create 3 different ads that are going to be helping me to draw people to the newsletter.
Got it. Love it.
So slowly but surely it's growing little by little, but I want to escalate that a little bit more.
So far though, you've been getting people mostly by posting on social media. And when you say social media, are you referencing maybe a business page you made for the Autism Passport, or is this in a group, or is this on your personal page?
I created a page, a business page.
Okay.
And that one is also pretty new. So that's where I'm posting, and I'm also posting in different autism related groups.
Okay.
Little tips and things like that with my logo on it. And so I need to learn how to do this. I'm not the best at posting on social media, so I need to escalate that. I need to grow that talent and learn how to utilize it. And I do mainly Facebook because that's where I find a lot of the autism groups. Eventually, I want to translate these ones to Instagram, but I'm not there yet.
And is this newsletter, someone signs up for this in a certain way? Is there a website? Looks like maybe theautismpassport.com. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I'm just pulling up some things as we're talking here. So wonderful. This is helpful to know. So when I look at just kind of asking enough questions to really get full context, is just what we're going through right now, just like you do on Pocket Marketer. I'm really trying to understand kind of where you are, what you've experienced so far, what your desire is or your outcome, and then kind of why you want to do it. And that kind of helps me a little bit as well. Let's go to the money thing here. Usually when you have a cause or a mission behind what you're working on, that doesn't mean that it's going to be a nonprofit. Obviously, it needs to make money. Otherwise, it's hard to justify continuously doing that or allocating time and resources towards it when you need to be making money somewhere else. So is the end goal here to build up a pretty sustainable travel agency with lots of other people working with you and under you? Or what's the end goal here, just so I have an understanding?
Great question, because I didn't know what direction to take. I used Pocket Marketer and I used the big idea generator. And I told it, okay, these are my ideas. This is kind of what I want to do. And that's how I came up with the idea of using the travel agency, but not only to be a travel agent and book trips. I want to create a little more of a concierge service, right? So that way we can build a little bit of more funds for or eventually a nonprofit.
Okay.
I want to definitely grow it so I have other agents, but I also am trying to network and connect with other companies that serve the autism community. So that way I can, if I'm not the only one booking everything for them, I'm getting to know other people that are equipped to even travel with the families.
Okay.
So I am trying to find all the resources I can so I can provide extra services for these families that can literally have somebody with them that if they need respite care, or somebody who is trained that they can go with them on the trips and stuff like that. So it's definitely more specialized, but that's the ideas that have come up with the Pocket Marketer. I don't know about speaking engagements, or how can I expand so then I can bring more revenue. I just want to make this big, not just travel. I just don't want to be just a travel agent. I want these to be beyond that, like bigger, and even to bring awareness to the travel industry, to airlines and restaurants, and make it bigger.
Love it. Well, we got to start somewhere that is easy to make money. And then from there, a lot of that stuff can compound. So let's get into just some business principles. And you've mentioned Pocket Marketer 4 or 5 times. I'm going to dive into that in a little bit for anybody listening, just so I can explain what she was referencing. But more really on demand. One of the biggest things with business in general is we really are tapping into existing demand. We're not trying to create demand, right? It'd be naive to think that there's not a ton of families across the US and the world that are impacted at some level by having children or adult children with sensory issues and autism, and the idea of they still want to go on trips and vacations as well. And it's, if you've never experienced that, it's definitely, it has its challenges. So I think there's a real need for this for sure. I think the question though is to kind of figure out how to channel the demand that's already there as well as this is one of the rare things that you probably could start creating some demand by just putting more awareness out there. And it's not that learning how to travel better and finding better trips and better itinerary and cool hacks and all kinds of cool destinations that are more sensory issue friendly. I think it's the fact that people already have demand to travel. And it's just showing people that if you also fall into this category, there is an authority and there is one person or one company that does this better than everybody else. So I think it's just getting that awareness out there that you're even doing that is going to be huge. So the things I like so far is I love the newsletter. I think it's brilliant. I think my biggest goal for you today is a couple things. One, how can I teach you several strategies to get that newsletter to grow like wildfire? So that's number one. Number two, I want to show you a couple different tools out there, not Pocket Marketer, but other things that exist that can help you build newsletters out quickly and for not very much money at all, which would be pretty cool compared to just using organic social media or Facebook like you're doing now. A couple other things I want to think about with you is potentially how to start channeling demand once somebody comes into your newsletter and turn those people who are newsletter subscribers into people who are actually having conversations with you about booking travel and getting your expertise. And then the third thing would be maybe creating your own community that has been that needs to focus on this right here. So you have something called owned media, where it's actually a list of people that you can get in front of whenever you want to in a very easy way. So really, those are the three things. So one would be newsletter. Let's make it grow like wildfire. Number two, that's the social media strategy I'm going to teach you or go over with you in just a few minutes to help you build your own media where you own it. And it's another list beside your newsletter. And number three, what should you be sending people who are on your newsletter outside of the newsletter itself to get them to engage in conversations with you, to have you become their travel expert moving forward in their concierge, right? Does that sound good?
It sounds perfect.
Perfect. Cool. So let's dive into the three things. So one is really the newsletter as it sits. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share a couple different tabs here. So right out of the gate, you have your newsletter. And let me add this to the stage. This is your newsletter, correct?
Correct.
Where people get it right now is really just from you posting on Facebook and people seeing it. So can you tell me how many people are on the newsletter currently?
Right now we have 51.
51 people. Okay. A couple things I want to share with you today. And I don't know why my screen stopped sharing. So give me a second. I'll share it right back to you again. Number one is I want to show you something called Beehive. Have you ever heard of Beehive?
That's what I use.
This is what you use currently. So you're using Beehive, but your only distribution channel currently is Facebook.
Correct.
Okay. Are you using any of their advertising features or becoming?
Yes, I started doing, and that's kind of my goal, to grow the advertising features and the affiliate marketing and things like that.
Perfect. Next thing I want to go over with you specifically is the idea of leveraging LinkedIn newsletters. Have you ever used LinkedIn newsletters before?
No.
No. Okay. So LinkedIn has a newsletter system, right? And what you can do is you can go into your LinkedIn account, and we're in mine right now, right? Go to LinkedIn. You can create a newsletter from your page, and you can create a lot of buzz almost overnight, right? So let's see if we can get a newsletter for pages. And there's a lot of articles on here around how to do this, right? So you can go here and go through this process. So go to your page, current admin level, create, and then click create a newsletter. So imagine if we went to, I'll give you an example. We'll go to Pocket Marketer's LinkedIn, and let's do it together just so you can see this process. And it's so funny, timing wise, Jeremy on my team, who I work with frequently, Jeremy started a Pocket Marketer newsletter yesterday. And I think it has more subscribers already today than yours has so far, because LinkedIn is a very, very powerful tool, and he's been sending things out quite a bit. So create, and you can create, should say newsletter based on the article we just looked, but we'll have to get you some training from Jeremy on that specifically. But he created a newsletter last night, and I think we have over 150 subscribers literally overnight. And he's managing that process, and he's going to start sending people stuff every single week from that one. So now that you know Beehive and you know LinkedIn, I think that's probably the two places I would start to begin with. Because having the newsletter and having great content is great, but if you're not actually getting people to go to it, it doesn't mean very much. So I would start with continue what you're doing with Facebook. I would also go into LinkedIn and create a newsletter there and drive people to the opt-in page for your Beehive is what I would do. Give them some content, more teaser content, drive them to the Beehive page that you have. And that would be the second strategy. The third strategy I would look at doing is I'd be creating my own Facebook group. Have you created your own Facebook group yet?
No, it's just the Autism Passport Facebook page, which is me posting. It's not a
So
group. It's not
I would
people
go and create
interacting yet.
I would go create a group, right? So when I just went in and typed in autism travel, and it's just two different keywords, not in any order, there are some groups that do exist. Travel with autism, autism and accessible travel. And one of the things that I was assuming would be true is there's not very many people on any of these, right? So there's 551, there's 66, there's 122, 133. So not a lot of people, okay? There is one here that says Bali travel with autism. So it's a very specific place people have looked at traveling, which is interesting. There's I Need Travel Agents. So there's certain groups out here, but I just don't think so far anybody's dominated this market of having a really powerful group, which is good news for you, right? Because I would go in and create something, and I don't know if I'd call it the Autism Passport. Maybe I would call it traveling with autistic, or travel for autistic families hyphen the autistic passport, autism passport. I would probably do that. And I would create this group and I would start adding people to this group. The two ways I would add people to this group is one, when someone opts into your newsletter, the first thing I would do in the email you're giving them, because usually you're going to indoctrinate them a little bit via email, correct? You're going to send them an email. Sorry, I thought I was sharing my screen this whole time. It was not sharing. So if you indoctrinate these people, the first thing they get, you say, hey, my name's Eloisa. I, just like you, have family members and a lot of experience traveling with family members with sensory issues, but we've navigated this successfully. And I would love to help you do the same. Thanks for signing up. One thing to keep in mind is if you ever want to get in touch with me, we have a little community we started on Facebook. Here's the link to join. Right? Add that into the original indoctrination email, because no one's really dominating this, as you can see. 646 members, 122, 66, 50, 551. And you can start your own. The other thing you could do is go into these groups that are already open, and you can go and just become friends with them. You can maybe talk to someone who owns it, France Fisher, and maybe you can become really good friends with her or him, whoever that is, and see if they have anybody that they're referring to, or maybe they're a travel agent as well. But learning about this would be smart. I would definitely create my own community. When it comes to driving traffic to the community, I would start with one focus, which is really using the newsletter, right? Because if you have to try to focus on too many things, it may be a little bit more difficult. But putting more energy in just driving newsletter subscribers, which will be kind of a flywheel for everything else, right? So newsletter subscribers will get you more people in your Facebook group. And when you get newsletter subscribers, you can have more phone calls with people after you start emailing them, like I'll teach you today, trying to have conversations about the trips they have coming up and seeing if you can be a resource there and help them. And then the more you have money coming in from actually getting these sales from these people you're meeting through the newsletter, the more you can put into advertising the newsletter. And then it's a flywheel from there, right? There's a book called Turning the Flywheel by Jim Collins. And he talks about how people focus on too many things when they should just find the one thing that if they do it, it turns the flywheel for them, right? So for me, just to stay focused, I would stay focused on the newsletter itself. I imagine that there are a lot of other strategies for building a newsletter beyond just using Beehive or sharing it on social media. You can also do cold email. And this is something that may work really, really well. Have you ever heard of cold email?
Just random marketing that I get in my inbox all the time that I just kind of delete.
So cold email is the idea of being able to use scraper services like Apollo, Zoom Info. There's a lot of different systems out there where you can go and get specialty lists, email lists of people who are most likely good candidates for whatever your product or service is that you sell. And it can be very niche down or it can be very broad. And cold email is just using a software kind of and having the ability to send out emails to them, even though they never opted into your list. Probably the most common system that I'm aware of is a system called Instantly. And I'll share my screen and just kind of go over that a little bit just to share some resources with you. So instantly.ai, and let's make sure it's sharing. There you go. Is where you can find, contact, and close your ideal clients is what they call it here. But literally, it's a cold email platform where they can help you find the people you're looking to get in front of, and then they build out these email sequences with you, warm up the inboxes so you can get good deliverability, and then you're sending people emails out based on exactly what they're interested in and what you sell. So it's a very powerful system. I know in real estate investing, it's actually something people do. A lot of times they send out people actual letters in the mail, and a lot of people use cold email as well. Same thing in my world, which is business acquisition. It's very, very popular. It's very popular in B2B. But what's cool about it is if you're marketing about something that's not just business related, but maybe more cause or focus related, imagine somebody who had a family member who had sensory issues and they saw emails talking about that specifically. That's more likely to get them to open rather than just some cold spam emails that you get every day, right? So it may be a very effective strategy because it's very inexpensive. And that's the key here is you could probably email 20 to 30,000 people a month for a couple hundred dollars. It's very, very inexpensive. It's very scalable. So that's what I would start with. When it comes to building up the newsletter, like I said, I think it'll be a flywheel effect for everything else, because the more you can get on the newsletter, the more people you have the ability to market to besides the newsletter, to try to get them on phone calls, get them to join trainings that you can do on webinars and things like that. But it also is going to help you get more customers. It gives you more money to put back in the newsletter for now. And I think that would be probably the smartest thing to focus on. Second thing is the Facebook group strategy. You're going to drive people to the group once they join your newsletter as well. Then you have the ability to communicate with them all the time. You can do lives. You can do all kinds of cool stuff there. I think the big question I have is, should you focus just on autism, right? Just focusing on that one niche compared to travel with disabilities, which you and I spoke about briefly before we started recording, because that's a much larger group of people. What I probably suggest is you do both. I don't know if I would just lump them together like that. I may try them both at the same time. Maybe have one more newsletter if it's not too much of a lift for you. That's called the Disability Passport or Traveling with Disabilities. And just duplicate this exact system twice. Have a different Facebook group as well, because I imagine there's going to be a lot more demand when you get away from just the one thing, and it's going to be a much bigger market for you. And the reason why I say that is because when you need to make some money and you need the travel agency to start to get traction quickly, there's no reason why you can't double down on a strategy and do it in two verticals. And you can also see which one works better. You may find that surprisingly, even though it's a smaller group of people compared to all disabilities, that the autism really took off and your Facebook group and your newsletter is growing like crazy, and the disabilities one kind of fell flat, or vice versa, or best case scenario, both do well. So I would probably double down on my activity and do both. I would definitely do both. And it's really the same content again and again. You could actually do the exact same live well, travel well, resources, and special people. It's just a little bit more work, and you just have to kind of tweak the content to be more focused towards one or the other. So that may be really, really helpful. I think a lot of the stuff that's romantic to think about is what happens later, right? We have the idea of maybe doing a big community you have and take them all on a cruise and make it a profit center, but also do something amazing. And then you said maybe partnering with the airlines or partnering with a cruise line and finding these different destinations. And that would be great too. But I think at the moment, it's all about focus. It's all about just knowing there's a few activities. That's it. Just a few activities that are going to lead me towards momentum. And the first one was growing the newsletter. So I don't want to go too deep into that. I think there's a lot of research you can do on other services like Beehive. I think I would definitely open the Facebook group. I would definitely add the link to the Facebook group and invite everyone who signs up for your newsletter, and put it in the PS line every week of your newsletters you send out. PS, by the way, we have a community we're building. We're sharing best practices, and it's a family. We're all in this together. Click here if you want to join the Facebook group. I would look at cold email, maybe even find someone on Upwork or Fiverr to help you with that if you need help. And I would also focus on trying LinkedIn because it's free. And you saw since yesterday, we have 150 on our newsletter. I don't even know what Jeremy did, but message Jeremy. He'll help you with that. The second part is
a quick question.
Please do.
On LinkedIn.
Please.
Because I do have the real estate and the Autism Passport newsletter. and the gathering memories travel. It gets a little bit, to me, it seems a little bit too confusing when people look me up. So, is there a way to kind of strategize how you put your? I mean, I know you have different businesses. Like, what
I have
is
23 companies.
right?
Yeah. So a couple things you got to think about. Number one, is it really strange to have someone that has multiple businesses listed on LinkedIn? No, it's pretty normal. It's also not a bad thing to have multiple focuses. I think where it could be counterproductive is if you were leveraging your LinkedIn very, very heavily to generate deal flow for real estate investing. If that was true and you say, hey, I don't want to disrupt that, it may make sense. But if that's not a platform you're leveraging huge on any of those businesses, I don't think it's going to make much difference. And I don't think people see you and say, wow, she's scattered, she has a lot of things going on. I think it actually enhances you that you have social causes and businesses you work on. But that's up to you. I don't know the answer to that question, obviously. So are you leveraging LinkedIn heavily for deal flow?
No, not at all. But that's the only people that know me right now. That's real estate. That's all the only, all my contacts are real estate based.
Well, autism doesn't discriminate against who has it in their family or not. There may be tons of people that are in your community and people you're
Mhm.
connected with through real estate investing that have no clue that you would even be interested or helping them in that type of stuff, right? So we kind of have this concept in some of my businesses called make your mission known, because no one's a mind reader, right? If you have a mission or you have something you're looking to do, don't be afraid to put a flag in the sand, because no one knows that you're looking to help them with that unless you tell them. So I don't think it's a negative thing at any level. Quick question, a little bit of a tangent here. What kind of real estate investing do you do?
I have single family, multifamily, rehabs,
So
vacation rental.
wow, I have a portfolio as well. I used to be in short term rental, but now I'm only in buy and hold, long term rentals only. I actually live in my Airbnb now.
Well,
One of
that's
them.
awesome.
I didn't like. It's on the lake, so life is good. But are you a part of any of those big groups or any of the big three?
Yes, and I do. Yeah, and I do networking and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say that may be a great launching pad for you.
And that's why I don't do social media, because I do more in-person networking, and here locally, I'm in Tucson. So what I do is just right here, local. So
Are you in sub
that's how
two?
I
Sub
do.
two is big out in Arizona.
No.
Okay. Okay. I know a lot of the people who own the big real estate groups. A lot of my friends. I've hosted 4 events personally with Pace Morby, because business acquisitions and real estate were really close. So that's what I was asking. But I think there's probably a lot of people in your natural market that if they just knew you were also not necessarily doing the travel agency, I don't know if I'd market that specifically. I'd market more of being the person, the go-to person, if you have a family member with a disability and you're looking to travel, like have people come to you like a magnet. And then the idea of showing them the agency services can be a great part of that, right? People come to you for information, inspiration, to be a part of something that is bigger than themselves. And then the travel agency is kind of a very easy conduit. So back to where we're going. So we talked about newsletters, and I know we're short on time today because of my fault. I was a little late, so my apologies. I want to go into what do you do once you have someone on your newsletter, right? So let's say you fast forward a year and you've got 1,600 people or 3,000 people. This can be a wonderful, wonderful source of revenue for you if you do the right things. And Pocket Marketer obviously can help you with this tremendously. But the goal would be to, besides just delivering them a newsletter, also deliver them the opportunity to have a call with you. I would maybe even have it in the bottom or the part of the section of the newsletter and just remind people constantly and gently that you are a resource beyond just getting a newsletter. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to hear about your travel plans and aspirations, and have a link for someone to book a call on your calendar. Maybe as you get bigger and bigger, well over 500 to 1,000 people in newsletter, host a monthly call for the community, for everyone who's in the newsletter, and put it on Zoom and have a chance to get FaceTime with people and maybe bring an expert or showcase one destination, right? As a travel agent, most people showcase destinations. They're like, wow, and they take pictures when they were in Cabo and they come back and they're trying to get as many people as possible to bite to say, yes, I want to go there. And then they book that travel. So why not every month or every couple of weeks do one of those where you showcase a very autism friendly or a sensory issue friendly location and talk about the suggested itinerary and show a lot of pictures. And that's such a great way to take people in the right customer avatar with the right mission and focus, align with what you're doing, and then have them have a trigger to make them spend money. I mean, that's what I would be doing. I'd show them that. Just like in real estate, what's the one thing that drives buyers the most? It's inventory. We know that. That's why people buy, is because they have a triggered an emotional or a logical reaction to a piece of inventory. And that's why they take action now. So show people inventory as much as possible. So build up the newsletter. The other thing, when you look at Live Well, Travel Well, and the resources and people, in the Travel Well, have you been highlighting destinations specifically?
Yes, I have.
And then what's the call to action below that? Are you asking them to take an action at that point?
Right now, no. Right now, I've been just pumping resources and destinations just to bring awareness.
Which is good, but you may be giving away leads as well. Somebody may go Google that property and call them directly, right? So I think you got to make your mission known, and you got to tell people. So let's say you posted this and it's a Florida, Miami vacation, and it's this very special place. Say, by the way, I've been here personally, or I help. And by the way, I help families like yours travel well when you have sensory issues or autism or disability, whatever. I'd love to be your go-to resource. The next step is to hop on a call. I can help you price out the trip. I can help you with the suggested itinerary. This is what I specialize in. And then give them your number, give them a link. Like, don't be afraid to give them that, because you may have people on your list right now that have already booked travel but did not go with you because they didn't know it. And I know you said you just got your license, but and you have to wait till a certain point, but don't be afraid to put that travel or that call to action out there as often as possible, because no one's going to take action unless you ask them to. So that's what I would focus on next. Besides that, besides just the newsletter, you have the ability to email these people, correct? Do you have the emails automatically going to another CRM, like Go High Level or Active Campaign? Do you have anything like that set up?
I'm not set up yet, but I'm heading to that direction. So it's just baby steps. Everything's still new, but yeah, eventually that's what I want to do. So on Beehive, I only have one automation, which is they sign up, they get a welcome email, and then they get a free travel guide.
And then
just free travel tips. And then from there, that's where it stops. And then from there, I want to bring him into Go High Level so then I can start marketing more.
So that's what I would do, is definitely add the automation and invite them to your Facebook group just immediately. Create the Facebook group, add 10 to 15 people so it doesn't look empty, that you know, then start inviting them through that automation. Besides just give them a travel guide, like say, hi, this is me. Here's my story. Here's our picture. Here's our community. Join now. Like, make it more of an indoctrination so they learn more about you. Don't just send them a travel guide, right? You can send them the travel guide. The second thing I would do is definitely get them in to Go High Level, like you referenced, and get that done quickly. And then I would send them probably one email a week on maybe the alternate times of when you send your newsletter, and just make sure it's stuff that's also very, very powerful, very value driven. But you can always put the bottom, by the way, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is when it makes sense to reach out to me, and give them your information. You may start getting 1 to 2 calls booked a week as you grow. And then as you have 1,500 to 2,000 people in your newsletter, it may be 5 to 6 calls a week. And all of a sudden you've got a good business, and then you kind of control your lead flow by how many messages you send out. So I would stay focused on that for sure. And I think that's going to be very helpful for you. So really, we talked about creating a Facebook group, adding it to the flywheel of making sure everyone is invited, not just the first time you send an email, but every other newsletter, every other week. Put that in there. By the way, if you haven't joined our Facebook group yet, please join it here. It's a group of us all focused on the same thing. It's like a little family. Would love to have you a part of it. So it's every 2 weeks. The next thing I would do is try the LinkedIn newsletter for sure. I would probably focus more on trying to get good at that. If there's anything else out there similar to Beehive, I would do that. There also may be newsletter swap Facebook groups. There may be all these groups that you can join that we showed you on my screen earlier, that you can go in there and start talking to people and adding value. You can ask questions as well. That's one thing on social media that works the best, is asking questions. If you put a question mark at the end of your post, people usually answer, right? So if you went into those autism and travel things and said, hey, what's your favorite travel destination when you are dealing with sensory issues in the family, and let people start engaging with you, and then you can have direct conversations with them, and you can just tell them who you are and make that connection and that rapport, and then say, hey, I have a newsletter. I'm very passionate about this. I'd love if you join. If you send 20 to 30 invites a week from just doing those activities, taking an hour or two a week to do that, you may get 20 to 30 new people that are very focused on this that you wouldn't have if you didn't do that activity. So the little things start scaling up. They start stacking. And then really the last thing, like I said, is get them to go high level and start emailing them out besides just the newsletter, and making sure they know who you are, what you do, when does it make sense to reach out to you, and then leverage inventory as much as possible. Imagine the newsletter is Autism Passport. Every other email could be a destination spotlight, and it could be something you found, and you can do a video talking about it rather than just send it to them. Do a video. I'd pull up on my screen and I'd start talking to them and let that passion you have for this shine, and ask them on the video recording, hey, if you are way overdue for a vacation, if you've always felt like going on a trip is more trouble than it's worth because of the things that you deal with at home, please let me help you. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I do. I can help you plan the trip. I can help you make sure you're going places and have the itinerary that's really going to help you make this the best trip ever. Like, you won't believe how powerful that can be. Maybe somebody's been waiting for someone to give them that encouragement. So I would be doing that stuff. The more that you can get in front of people with your voice, and you're beautiful and you got passion and they can see that, the more you're going to make money. I promise. It's not a passive strategy behind a keyboard. If you're comfortable doing that, that's what I would do. You just told me that, social media is not your biggest thing. You're an in-person networker. Then leverage your skills of communication and the way that you can eloquently explain what you do and let them see that passion. It's going to help you a lot.
Okay.
Cool. This is kind of a little bit of a shorter episode for us today, just because of my time constraints. So my apologies there. But I think the big thing that we always look at when we're starting something new is there's a level of nervousness that comes along with it, especially when you have been, obviously you're very successful as a real estate investor and probably other things before that. Sometimes we don't want losses on our record. Right? We win, we succeed, we're very successful people. So you want to take your time and do it correctly. But sometimes when you don't know what direction to go in, it's really hard to take a step forward. So I'm glad you found Pocket Marketer. I'm glad we crossed paths so you can have that world-class marketer strategist inside your business at your fingertips without having to pay a lot of money to have it, which is very, very valuable. What I'd encourage you to do from now is just take the action of doing the things that are working and doing it more. Really just kind of pushing the button again and again and again. So that's messaging people and having conversations in the groups. That's doing other channels besides just Facebook to get people to your newsletter, maybe even finding other things like Beehive to try to tap into new networks. That would be just adding more fuel to the fire, and then making your mission known, asking people to hop on a call, making yourself available is massive, right? When I was a real estate agent, and I had a team of 27 agents when I shut that down in 2023, we were so successful at what I'm telling you about right now. We used to make sure everyone knew, text message and in every email we send, by the way, I love to look at houses. You're never bothering me. This is what I do. When you see something that catches your eye, let's go see it. And you won't believe how many times my agents were showing houses all weekend because that one statement. And you and I both know that people buy houses on a whim, right? People also book travel on a whim. They need someone to encourage them or tell them it's okay to get excited about it or take action, right? And that's a very powerful thing that most people completely skip. They just have to wait for it to come to them. Nope. We created our own success by creating those moments. And we used to actually send houses to people that weren't even in the market. My mom's really good at this. I know you mentioned my mom earlier. Mom is the master. She knows exactly what their buy box is. She knows what they want. She'll go find stuff when she needs sales. She still sells to this day. And she'll find something and she'll send it to somebody who is affluent and say, hey, by the way, I know you're not in the market, but whoa, when I saw this house, I thought of you. If you want to go take a look at it just for fun, let me know. 1 out of 5 of those, they buy it. So wow. It's the idea of, why can't you do that with travel? Why can't you leverage the inventory of all these amazing destinations that get that emotional reaction? They're like, oh, we do need to go there. That looks amazing. Or it's so cold here and I need warmth in my life. People book travel because of random stuff. So don't be afraid to leverage that.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I gave you a lot. We've been doing this for about 40 minutes now. I'm going to pause. I've spoken a lot more than I've listened. So let me ask you, what's your biggest takeaway? Do you feel confident and clear on the next steps and strategy that we talked about today?
I do. I do. Thank you so much for the direction. I had not thought about LinkedIn, the newsletter. That's new to me. Um, I the Facebook group. I was just doing a page, but there's not much interaction there. So a group, I think that's a really good idea. So thank you for that.
As well as
Um,
going other people's groups and engaging with them. You're not having to recruit over to yours, but go in there and ask questions, need advice, in search of what is your favorite, and just get as many people to like and comment your posts as possible. Send them friend requests, send them DMs, and just
okay.
start creating conversations. And a
So on
lot
the Facebook, if I can ask just a quick question on the Facebook
of
profile. So I have my personal Facebook profile, but I created a business profile. Is it okay to use that, the business profile?
you cannot do that. Facebook is a personal business. They don't care about business profiles very much. They don't favor them. They don't show them to a lot of people. You can't join a group, as far as I'm aware, from a business page. You have to do it from your personal account.
No, no, no. It's a second profile, a
So you
second
created a
personal
new
profile.
profile, but it's not for a business page. You created a new individual profile for your business.
Right,
Is that right?
right, right.
That was against terms of service for a long, long time, but I don't know if they're still strict on it. The only thing that I don't like about it is you look fake. I mean, your real profile, you may have 3,000 friends, and then this new one you have has 6 friends. People just don't trust you when they go click on it, right? So that's the only negative thing about having a double profile. It could be okay if you had lots and lots of friends on there and you've been there for a long, long time, but how often do you trust someone you met for just the first time on Facebook? You look at their page and it says created 2 months ago. They got 16 friends and they've only posted 6 times. Like, they don't trust you. So that's the negative part about that process, if
Okay.
that makes sense. And this is a kind of a dilemma a lot of people think about. Like, I want to keep things separate, right? But it's up to you. It's up to the way you want to do it. I don't know,
Okay.
because catfishing is so real, right? You have all these people. The more notable you get, the more people start copying you and messaging your friends and asking for money. And, people just don't trust new accounts. That's the problem.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But it's up to you at the end of the day, but that's my honest opinion there. So keep going. What else you got on your takeaway and your action plan?
My takeaway is like what tools would I be utilizing on Pocket Marker to make this happen? Like any input on what tools will be beneficial for me to say, okay, you're going to use this for
Yep.
this.
Yep. Well, one, I would encourage you to look into Instantly for
Okay.
cold email if you want to get to it. But for now, I think you just need some momentum. I would do a little bit of more manual effort in getting in these other groups that already exist and becoming friends with as many of them as possible, trying to start conversations and drive them to your group. I would be doubling down on doing the LinkedIn stuff and getting more and more people to come to my group from there. And I enjoy my newsletter. I would be also thinking about all your in-person networking. Is there a reason why you couldn't make a couple posts or make a couple, send out a couple messages to people in your current network and ask for referrals and say, hey, you only know the one version of me, which is a real estate investor. I also do this, this, and this. If you know anybody at all who has a family member with a disability or with sensory issues, I'd love to be connected with them and be the one you think of referring to whenever someone mentions they need help, or if you know anybody, like, just spread the word. Just make sure you make your mission known. I think that's going to be a big part of it as well.
Yeah, and on that regards, I thought at one point of also focusing on like small business owners or investors, which is kind of like my line, right? A lot of times we are so busy with everything that we do that travel planning is just, not, it's hard, right? So I thought about having that as a second niche, just small business owners to draw people also to the travel agency. I don't know if that's a little too much or dividing
You
too
can
much
try
of my
it.
attention.
You can try it. I think at the end of the day, those are the busiest people there are out there, right? So, and not necessarily the ones that decide to travel all the time. It depends on what kind of business they have. I'd start with the disability and I'd start with autism and just kind of stay
Okay.
focused and not try to do too much at once. Your big
Okay.
goal is to increase distribution in your newsletter. The second goal is to get as many people from the newsletter and from your network on your Facebook group. And then your third goal is to make offers to people to hop on the call and talk about their travel plans. And that's what's going to make you money. I mean, it's really the 3 steps. with Pocket Marketer specifically, and I'll share my screen. Anybody watching here, by the way, Pocket Marketer is a software. It is a software that literally gives you a world-class marketer in your pocket. I am Chris. I am the creator and the founder of this business with my partners, and I am a world-class marketer. And what I've done here is I've decided to, rather than charge people $20,000, $30,000 a month as a chief marketing officer in their business, try to help them grow and scale, I gave them access to every single thing they would ever need. So they don't even need an agency anymore to market their business themselves, leveraging the world-class marketing brain. And essentially how it works is if you go in and create a project, once you're inside the project, all you have to do is just train the world-class marketing brain by answering 12 questions about your project, your client, your business, whatever you're working on, and the marketer can take it from there. So that's what she was referencing several times. What I would start with you specifically is I would go to Pocket Growth Strategist, and I would talk to this growth strategist like you talk to me and have conversations around exactly what's going on after the conversation we had. Just so you're aware, I've recorded all of this obviously on my note taker and in the episode. I would go and literally go back to your project for the Autism Passport, and I would upload the recording of our conversation in here and let me give the Pocket Marketer genius even more context. And then I would be staying focused, like I said, with the Pocket Growth Strategist and having conversations about how do I get more distribution on my newsletter? Tell me the things that I haven't even thought of. Here are the things, and just have the conversations. And Chris, me, will guide you through the system. And that's what I would be doing next. Beyond that, I would also be looking at having conversations with the Pocket Copywriter as well, or the email tool builder. And I would say, hey, I have the newsletter, obviously. How can I add contextual call to actions at the right place in the right time to be able to get more and more people to book a call on my calendar or request a call or call my cell phone? Upload, literally drag and drop, upload the couple newsletters you've had, and let the email and nurture follow-up specialist or the copywriter tool show you where to put all of these call to actions and help you write those specifically. You can also in this tool have help writing the emails that kind of go between the newsletters that are more of a destination spotlight, and help you craft all of that information in there. So once you get into go high level, you can start sending out emails. So that's how I would tackle this project to begin with. Okay. Does that help?
Yes, very helpful, because I had no idea how to do the sequence of how to utilize everything.
Really step one is, if you already have a project set up, go in here, and I'm going to give you, and I think you already do, and you've probably already done the interview section, right?
I'm still working on finalizing the interviews, but yes, I've been doing it a little bit at a time.
Just go to Knowledge Base and drag and drop the actual file from our conversation and the recording from this call, and I can help you do that. And then at that point, we've trained the world-class marketer with all the context that he or she would need to go do all your marketing for you. One thing to also remember is the Project Hub. Whenever you get stuck, click here. I'm not sure where to start. And it will literally preload in here with a template, with a prompt inside the Pocket Growth Strategist, and it'll start walking you through everything you need step by step. So don't ever get stuck. You don't need to. It's right there for you. So that's the next step here. I'd love to have a follow-up with you and learn more about how it's going. But really, it's just remember, turn the flywheel. More newsletter subscribers and more distribution leads to more people in your group. And the more times you can get in front of people and give them that call to action and plant your flag in the sand, letting people know that you're available to help them, you're going to get more and more calls. And then in the other times, besides the newsletter, show people cool properties, destinations, and then make videos as well as part of the distribution, so people can see you, meet you, feel the passion, and just say, listen, this is what I do. I love to help families with travel. I love to help people who haven't taken a vacation in 5 years finally get some rest and relaxation, and help you do it in a way that's going to be as easy as possible for your family members with sensory issues. Like, just show them your passion and people will come to you like a magnet. I think it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. So awesome. Any other questions for me before we end this today?
No, I think that's all I got right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. Like I told you before, my only goal today was to just kind of help you find some clarity. And I do think that as much as there's a niching down to travel and the niching down to this, when I first heard it, I felt a little reluctant to say, wow, I think there's a ton of demand here. But I think there probably is. I think it's for you. It's just creating the awareness, making people know that you are the go-to resource, and making yourself available. and then just kind of turning that flywheel of just continuously getting more distribution. The bigger that gets, the bigger your business will get. The smaller that stays, the longer you'll stay without making money. It's as simple as that. So awesome. Well, thanks for being on the Marketing Makeover Show. And if you all haven't seen Pocket Marketer, you can go to pocketmarketer.ai and click on that, and you can see all the case studies, all the use cases, and see exactly what this system does. It's absolutely incredible. And from there, I bid you farewell. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Chris. Have a great day.
My pleasure.